threat of disaster is never pleasant.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers podcast.
These safety measures are essential.
The only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment.
This will be your source of survival instructions and information. Every member of the family must be coached in the business of survival.
Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
Boy, I'm excited about today.
Yeah.
Cameron, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the studio. You look dashing in your shirt and pants and shoes, the clothing that you wore today. All of the whole ensemble.
Thanks.
It's always great when he comes fully clothed.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
I like being clothed.
But today I'm excited because what are we talking about?
Clothing and
Yeah.
We're talking about inch bags. And I don't mean little teeny inch bags.
Yeah.
If you don't know what it means,
Stay tuned.
we're going to talk
Stay
to
tuned.
you about it.
Yeah, let's keep that a secret.
What is an inch bag?
Huh.
Is it good?
Can't put enough
Do
stuff.
I want one?
Yes, we're going to talk about all that
Yeah.
stuff. And we were just talking about, like, how have we not talked about this yet? 133, 4 episodes, whatever it is, you know?
One prepper's like, it's about time.
Yeah, there's that one guy out there. One of the 10 people who listen.
Who actually
Yeah.
has one of these bags.
Yeah, but before we get to that, you want to fill out that inch bag with a bunch of cool stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Get Battle Box. It's the monthly subscription box for men who have inch bags full of solid gear for adventure seekers, survivalists, outdoor enthusiasts, and casual
Full
preppers.
inchers.
Full inch guys. Each month, BattleBox sends you the coolest selection of handpicked outdoor survival and everyday carry gear, all valued at far more than what you normally pay. You never know what's in the next box, but here is a sampling of what users received this month, the Extreme Weather Survival Manual. You ever wondered how to survive extreme weather? This book's going to tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
And you get it right
In the
your
middle of the
battle box.
storm.
Yep.
Whip it out, start reading.
Yeah, just don't get it wet. The Tops Knives Poker.
What, like the game?
No, it's a knife.
That's sweet.
All this badassness starts at just $30 a month. They've shipped almost 1 million boxes.
Is
and
this
one
a Julio box?
Julio
box?
Julio box. Did I say something weird?
No, I was
Oh.
just saying, like, is this the July box?
Oh,
that
I
we
get
don't
you.
have?
Yes, this
Or
is the
who-
one that,
yeah.
that we don't have yet. It's like, who's Julio? I don't know.
Sorry,
Julio can
interrupted
order.
the commercial.
Our listeners get a free knife when you sign up at trybattlebox.com/casual preppers. That is trybattlebox.com/casual preppers. Get your first battle box plus a free knife at trybattlebox.com/casual preppers. All right?
Get knives and more knives.
Do it.
Listener reviews starts now.
This is a long read.
Yeah, good luck.
Only time I've disagreed. Briefs till the day I die. That was it.
I thought that was a pretty good review.
That was pretty good.
If you don't know what that is, go listen to our last Q&A episode, and it'll make more sense.
Yep. Not so salty.
Yeah, but briefs, really?
Yeah,
dude.
Are you
What's wrong?
Are you a psych patient?
I know. Are you a serial killer or a psych patient or what is it? Huh?
That's
It's
funny.
got to be one of them. If you guys want to be a part of this portion of the podcast, go to iTunes, go to Facebook, go to the Kindle book on Amazon, leave us a 5-star review, make it awesome.
It's a mad, mad world.
Kim, I don't know if you've been looking at the news like I have been looking at the
Always.
news.
No.
But there's a storm coming. Yeah, it's brewing out
And
there.
hell's coming with me.
Hail's coming with it. And hail is really, there's going to be hail. You know what I mean?
True.
So it's a tropical storm right now, but it could be a hurricane. And its name is Elsa.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to build a snowman?
Do you want to build a hurricane?
Board up all your windows now. I wish I knew the song better. I'd go further, but I
that's it.
I don't know anything else.
That's when I stop tuning in to whatever they're watching.
Yeah. Florida governor, he's like, guys, go out and get some stuff to eat and to drink and be careful because stuff's coming. He's like, there's going to be flooding, there's going to be power outages. He's like, what?
At least he knows none of you have done this. You live in a hurricane area, but you've not done this.
Yeah, so it's just a good reminder that hurricane season is now upon us, everybody. Go get your stuff ready if you live in this area. Florida, for one. I don't know, Georgia. Louisiana,
Yeah.
Texas, all them. They're right in the hurricane zone. Carolinas. What else?
What else is over there?
I don't know. Cuba,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Puerto
true.
Rico,
Yeah. It still has not recovered.
all those little islands out there.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
go to. Just be
Bermuda
careful.
Triangle, folk.
Yeah,
Maybe the hurricane was teleporting into some alien location to piss.
back onto Mars.
We sucked a whole freaking hurricane in the warp hole.
Sent them to Mars, and now the chopper's all screwed up there. Yeah. Anyways, be ready.
Yeah.
'Cause there's a storm a brewing,
That's crazy.
and there's going to be a whole bunch more because of global warming. They say.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
It's true. It might happen.
And there's buildings collapsing all over down there.
Man, I had nightmares thinking about that. Could
Did
you
you?
imagine? Like,
bad.
if you didn't die, I would hope you just got crushed and
So
your
did you
dream
hear,
was.
Did you hear
in
the
heaven.
story that there was somebody trapped? Maybe I swear I heard this, that there's somebody trapped in there, and they had a landline that was still working, and they were kept calling out to try. Yeah,
If that's true, that's the
I
scariest
heard
thing
that.
ever.
Yeah, and they still couldn't find him because it's just like way underneath. Well, and then they like demolished the rest of the building.
I know.
and there's still people there.
I can't figure out what's going on. Like,
What the
families
fuck?
are pissed that it's taking forever, and
Yeah.
I can understand they're going slow, but at the same time, I'm like,
Yeah.
but we all know construction people are usually eating sandwiches 17 times a day,
I know. Yeah,
just wearing their vest, walking
15
around
monsters a
on
day.
their freaking walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
And go on there. You're I'm gonna lift some cement over there.
Got some rubble.
Yeah. Anyways, that's a horrible deal.
Yeah, it's not good.
Speaking of horrible deals,
Yeah.
a massive ransomware attack hits hundreds of businesses.
What?
Here's what we know:
Okay.
the hackers hit a range of IT management companies and compromised. I got it. Their corporate clients by targeting a key software vendor called Cassia. Cassia. I don't know.
Yeah.
On Monday, the attackers requested a $70 million payment in Bitcoin in exchange. Isn't that like one coin? In exchange
no.
for a decryption
I think
tool.
it's like 35,000 a coin right now. Ish. I better be perfectly straight because people get pissed off if you don't have your, like in the inflation or the hyperinflation episode, I was off by like a percentage on my current inflation, and somebody was calling me out on it.
Are you
Like,
serious?
I apologize. I said it was like 2% or something, and it was more like 4.5% at that point.
We wrote that like
But it was like
2 weeks prior.
I know,
but still.
you know what I mean.
I'm not a number cruncher.
Yeah, it's 35-ish.
Number muncher. That was a good game. Do you remember that?
No. Oh wait, maybe I do on the computer. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so it affected thousands of businesses, and this is like another of the whole, string of attacks that have happened with cyber attacks that are the ransomware deal, You don't want it to happen.
No.
Like major fuel supplier Colonial Pipeline got screwed, meat processor JBS Foods.
Mm-hmm.
So we know cyber risks are there.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your stuff safe. And we've
Surfshark.
told you to use Surfshark
Do
because
it.
that stuff will get stolen. Anyway, big deal.
Yeah.
It did affect, what was the saddest one on here? It said many dentist clinics were affected.
Really?
Makes me super sad.
Oh, so sad. We have a thing
Great.
with dentists.
No more crowns today.
Oh, woohoo! There goes
So,
my kid's vacation.
There
this
goes
year.
my second yacht.
Yeah. Gosh,
Anyway,
damn it.
hope you're not a dentist.
Yeah.
If you are,
Stop giving me so much stuff I don't need.
yeah. So there you go.
Inch bags, Cameron.
Yeah.
We're excited about this. We haven't talked about it. We're like, what?
I am excited about it.
It's one of those things that is not really applicable most of the time. I mean,
No.
a lot of stuff we don't talk about is super applicable, but
True.
But this one probably more so. But
Yeah.
it's still super fun to talk about, and it could be applicable, and
I
it
think
could
so.
be something to look at.
You may have gone overboard on your bug out bag,
Yeah.
and now you have an inch bag.
Exactly.
So, what
Or
is
half an inch bag.
average inch
Yeah.
bag?
So what does inch even stand for?
So inch is an acronym, and it stands for I'm never coming home. So this is a big old.
I tell that to my wife. I'm getting my inch bag.
We're going with that inch bag. Oh, I'm just testing it.
My kids are like, Daddy, isn't that your inch bag?
Yep. I'm just testing it. We're
heading-
doing a video.
Just gotta head to the gas station.
pill out of the parking
get
lot.
Cigarettes. Going to the gas station, get cigarettes. I'll be back.
I'm just putting some stuff in here.
His inch
Some
bag
chicken,
says
just stuffing a
otherwise.
chicken in there.
Taking a live chicken. We got to talk about that in the bag.
How do you transport all of your livestock?
That's really not that bad of an idea.
Yeah,
Take a chicken with you.
They're already confined throughout the United States.
Just put them on a leash, man. You know what I mean?
true,
You got breakfast for the whole time.
That's
They'll
true.
eat whatever.
That's true.
Why? We haven't talked about that.
That's way smarter than a dog.
I know.
Well,
You got to feed a dog.
chicken
Chickens
just,
will just eat bugs.
dog's
and
not
stuff.
going to give you more food
No. Well, I mean, it could.
for one meal.
Depends on how big the dog is.
Yeah. So anyway,
Chicken.
but yeah, this is your I'm never coming home. And you may have overpacked your bug out bag.
Yeah.
I think there's a little confusion here because, in all honesty, I went through my bug out bag just recently, and I think I go a little overboard.
Yeah.
Because really, you should focus on that 72-hour point.
Yeah.
You know, of like, I'm going to get away, go to a safe location, and then plan to come back or go to a bug out location.
And also with bug out bags too, I think sometimes we focus too much on like wilderness survival type stuff.
I think
When
so,
a lot
too.
of times that bag, you're just gonna take it to like a hotel,
Yeah.
or you know what I mean,
or just travel to family members or something like that.
So I think obviously you can have several different bags for those types of things, but
Exactly.
sometimes people have it too focused on other things. Sometimes people get to an inch bag instead of a bug out
Yeah.
bag, and that's why we're
and so
talking
your
about
inch bag is like your hardcore survive in the wilderness for a long period bag, like for who knows how long. But you're not planning on going back to your location, or you don't have a bug out location. Like you're living out of your inch bag. And I do that anyway. When I go on travel, I'm like, not unpacking any of this.
No.
Just live out of it.
Yep.
But yeah, so if you have a bug out bag, you're already halfway there or closer to making an inch bag. And the bug out bag's probably more important and more useful and most likely to come into play more often. But the inch bag that we'll go into in more detail it's just like an oversupplied bug out bag because you don't know how much you're going to need. And this is where you really have to think about, some of those like details. We'll go into these, but like, you got to hunt. You've got to prepare multiple meals. You got to have different types of shelter, and you want that all in the same bag.
Yeah.
And so, like I'd said, a bug out bag is more like your 3-day or 5-day bag, whereas your inch bag is going to be basically a mobile home, a mobile living. I think like Survival Sullivan put it a really good way is he said, your bug out bag is like a scuba tank. It's for a short period. You're going to go under, get away from, whatever threat. And then you're going to come back up. You're going to resurface, get back into normal.
Yep.
An inch bag is more like a submarine. You're going to travel a lot further, and you're going to stay under or out of harm's way or up in the wilderness for a long period. So
Yeah, I saw that too. I thought that was a pretty good way
I did too. I was like,
approach that.
pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so that's good. That's kind of the difference between the bug out bag and the inch bag. And they both kind of, sometimes they're one, sometimes people are kind of making a mix of the two.
Yeah.
But so talking about the inch bag specifically, like Cam said, your bug out bag, it's like 3 to 5 days at most, right? Just to kind of a transition period between whatever's happening at your home. Maybe you got to go for a couple days and come back, or maybe you're just trying to get somewhere else, like your bug out location, that type of thing. But why would you even have an inch bag? Like what sort of scenarios even make sense for this? And there's a couple. It's kind of wishy-washy on what scenarios really.
Right. It's not like specific.
Yeah. But there's a few that kind of came to mind as I was thinking about it specifically that made the most sense. And one of those is like a widespread, super deadly pandemic, right? So you just basically, you have to get away from people, and
Stay away from
you
people.
have to get away, and you have to stay away, and you have to be out there for an indeterminate amount of time until things get better, which who knows how long that may be, right? So that's one of those where you maybe just want to get to the wilderness, lay low for months at a time, possibly. Who knows, right? The other one could be like a widespread conflict or a war situation where, just being around people is dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that one's a little wishy-washy, but it could really be like a Red Dawn type
That's
situation.
what I thought
right?
too. Like maybe you're in a coastal
Yeah.
city or something, and
Sure.
like there's an invasion. You're not going to want to go back to the coast.
No,
for
you
a
just
long
you
time.
need to get away from people.
Move inland.
Exactly. So that's another one. Or, straight up government tyranny. Like the government starts, cracking down on things, and maybe it's martial law or whatever it is, and for an extended period of time. And you're better off just kind of being out by yourself, away from people, away from the government, and living on your own, right?
I don't live by the government anyway.
Exactly. Right. So those are a couple of the scenarios that made sense to me. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah.
And
It is hard to like pinpoint.
It
any
is.
typical.
it's really hard. And
Because I thought about that too. I'm like, where would this be?
with an inch bag too, it's one of those things that you probably need to be mobile. Like it's not like you're just going to go out to a mile in the woods and that's where you're going to live.
Yeah.
Right. You probably need to be moving.
Exactly.
And so
Because you think of how many people are going to leave
Hmm?
like an urban area and move to the woods and think they're going to live. Like you're going to
Yeah.
be dealing with more people.
A lot of
So
people.
it's like
So you're going to
you
have
really
to be
gotta
able
keep pushing deeper and
Yep,
further away and
exactly.
moving.
So it's one of those bags that you can have to be ready to live out. And maybe it's not necessarily straight up the wilderness. Maybe this is a super post-apocalyptic scenario, obviously, and it's an urban
Yeah.
scenario where you just need to be mobile and moving and
Yeah.
on the run all the time type thing, right?
You look at like the stupid series. It used to not be stupid, like
Yeah.
The Walking Dead.
For sure.
They're moving
All the time.
the
Yeah.
different locations. So pack and all that. I thought too, like if you lived on the big island in Hawaii, freaking volcano,
Yeah.
you're gonna lose all your stuff. So you've got to have
something.
more of a
Yeah.
inch bag.
Yeah, for sure.
You've got a boat inside it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe it blows full of air.
Uh-huh. I like it.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's weird. It crashed on me.
Oh, no.
We're done.
We're done.
This podcast is over.
Exactly.
So one thing is like, based on some of these scenarios, and is it something that you should consider having? Should you have both? And is it even worth your time to have an inch bag? Should you even consider an inch bag?
That's the hard part, man.
I know it is big time. And like Kobe was saying, any scenario could turn into more, so it's hard to like pinpoint. I think some of the considerations, like where you live, is it
Sure.
an area that is way more vulnerable to being wiped out or overrun or something like that. So you have to think about that too. Additional troubles that you have to look at if you're carrying a lot more than in your bob. Are you going to like be traveling through mountains, and how far are you going to hike? Are you going to be able to handle that? Maybe your physical fitness or your health conditions aren't going to allow that.
No.
So you do need to just deal with the
yeah.
bob and figure out a plan of how to like manage that. Also, the space factor, like an inch bag's massive.
Yeah.
A bug out bag's huge, you
Yeah.
know? And so, like for me, realistically, like I love my pickup, but if I were to travel very far with my family, if I wasn't going to go with, plan C or B up to a location, I'm probably going to take a fuel efficient, comfortable vehicle like freaking Pilot.
If
and
it
there's
works,
hardly any, there's going to be hardly any space in there. And so that's another thing you got to consider is if you want this big, huge inch bag that you're going to live out of, can you take more than one? Maybe you're going to leave a kid and put your bug out bag in the seatbelt.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. So, and I think it just has to go into, a lot of it has to go into your situation. And I also mentioned, like, if you live in a suburban area or urban, that's more likely a place that you're probably going to want something like an inch bag, I would think. Because I like getting away from cities and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
But not always.
Not necessarily. Not always. Sometimes an inch bag won't be super helpful because maybe you can't get away.
And it may be super inconvenient
Yeah.
leaving a city with this massive bag on your back.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
So
either
anyways, you have to kind of really evaluate your situation, what your plan is, and also consider your skill set. Like, what are you able to do, outside of just what's in your bug out bag? Can you live very long? I mean, it's just like going camping is, 3 days in, you're like, good freak, I got to get back.
Yeah.
Even when you thought you brought everything, even when you have a camper,
it's
full
tough.
of stuff, you're
It's not
still
easy.
like, this sucks.
Yeah, it's not very fun. You also have to think about Do you have the financial means to make this bag? Because this bag has got a lot of stuff in it.
It does.
You know what I mean? And
do you have the time to test the gear and know how it works? Because the last thing you want is garbage gear in this bag.
This bag is, and we'll talk about that because it becomes even more important.
Yeah.
Because it's an
You wanna be,
indefinite amount of
like,
time.
super efficient with the weight you're packing. Cause Anyway, so.
Because it's going to get expensive.
Yeah, for sure. So a lot goes into this. And so financial, your location, your health, what skill set you have, all of that has to be considered and whether or not you even want to deal with an inch bag. I think everybody should have a bug out bag, but the inch bag becomes a little more specific and a little more hardcore.
Well, and also, I think we'll probably talk about this later too, but it also depends on your group and your family. Like, I think about this, like, how could I even do this with my entire family?
Right.
Could I go and live somewhere? Like, I'm never coming home? I don't even know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe.
If you had no other choice, but by choice, no, it'd be miserable.
Yeah, it'd be super miserable. So let's talk about probably one of the most important aspects of this. We're talking about this bag that's going to keep you alive indefinitely. The bag itself. Choosing the actual bag in this instance is more important than our other bags by far because, for one thing, this bag is going to be much heavier, right? And for this situation, it's going to be much more important because you're going to carry everything you absolutely need to live indefinitely. So this bag has got to
be high.
It's got to be high quality,
and support weight. Yeah,
exactly. So we're going to talk about all those things. What are some things that you need to think of? And number one is fit. And I say this is number one because if you're going to be hiking in any amount of time with a pack that's going to be this heavy, and how heavy is it going to be? 50 to 75 pounds? I don't know. It's going to be heavy. Right?
Yeah.
Because with all this stuff, it has to be comfortable and it has to ride well on your body, right? Does it have the waist belt to help distribute that weight? It absolutely has to. Like there's just no way around it. Like it has to have these things.
Herniated disc in freaking middle of an apocalypse.
Good luck. Is it rated for the load that you're going to be packing? So that's something you kind of have to get together, that gear, say, okay, how heavy is this going to be? And, what kind of bag do I need? Does it have an internal, external, no frame? There's so many options there that you have to figure out. And something I think is another thing I think is important. Is it adjustable? Does it have compression straps and adequate padding in all the places it needs it to keep it comfortable? Right?
Yeah,
it's got to be comfortable.
It's crazy how much you talk about this.
Yeah,
and you feel like you have a good pack.
Yeah,
but until we got like the Eberly stock ones.
Yeah, man.
I had no idea.
Whole different game.
Like it can carry, and it feels so much more comfortable carrying the weight on it.
Yep.
Like I'm like, it's awkward and you're a little tipsy because the weight distribution. But man, my back didn't hurt at all carrying this sucker because it has a big old lumbar pad on it.
Definitely.
Fans. I mean, jetpack.
Nuclear power.
Pretty.
It's great.
Yeah.
But the next thing to think about is capacity. Does it have the space that you need for all of your gear? And does it have the adequate compartments and pockets to, keep things where it needs to be?
One single compartment.
That's hard.
Sucks.
It's horrible.
Dig it all out. You're going to lose something or
just a huge ass duffel bag is not going to be great. You got to have a bag that has compartments to isolate some things. You want to be able to get to your first aid kit quick. You want to be able to get to, maybe you have a gun in there, whatever. You got to get to that quick. You have to be able to sift through your gear and also not have to take everything out every time you stop.
You're going to lose something easily if you're just like pulling it all out to get to your freaking tent.
Yeah.
I think I'd seen somewhere where they'd recommended like some of the, non-casual preppers.
Sure.
Like 30 liters at least.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's a pretty big bag.
It's big. Yeah, for sure. The next thing to think about is durability. And this is probably the second most important, maybe the most important, who knows, but it needs to be high quality, durable material. I don't like polyester because I feel like that stuff rips way too easy. I like ballistic nylon or something like that that's really going to hold up for an undetermined amount of time. And this thing might have to last years.
Yeah.
Underwear. You know what I mean? So it has to underwear. I mean, just say underwear.
What'd you say?
Is it waterproof or does it have a waterproof cover? If it starts raining and everything's wet, that's a bad deal too.
I think that's good that you like mentioning there's a ton of those packs that are like save all the weight. Like you save your weight from your pack so that you can pack more stuff. But that material is not going to hold up.
But it's something you do have to think about,
Yeah.
right? You have to weigh those options. But with the durability, just with a pack like this, don't get suckered into a cheap bag. It's
No.
not going to be worth it. You
Yeah.
have to spend the money because you get what you pay for, especially with packs like this. If you're a hunter, there's so many options with packs like this, like we use at Eberly Stock. And
Yeah, and they usually have it. Yeah,
yeah,
That's the thing about like with people that are hunters, they
Yeah.
usually do have, an advantage because they have this really durable gear because they're packing animals.
Yeah,
and
they're
stuff
packing
on it.
animals and stuff out that take tons of weight.
So
yeah,
if you have a hunter around, ask them what
Ask 'em.
packs.
Yep. Weight, like Cam mentioned, the weight before load could be a factor. You know what I mean? The more lightweight ones are
Drop your load.
you drop your load exactly. The last thing I want to talk about is modularity. It's nice to have a bag that can easily either change with the seasons or adjust the load.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like those packs that have like the little modules.
I
that
do too.
Maybe you can pull off. So say you're at your camp for a week or whatever it is, and you don't want to take that whole damn thing with you on a day trip out looking for food or whatever it is, and you can have like
Yeah,
a
that's so
a
true.
little piece that you can take with you
Just the
for the
frame.
day. Yeah, just the frame came with the frame. But like some of them have like that front little like fanny pack thing
Yeah.
that you could just take off. And put it on. God, I don't know what I was thinking there. I was like, there was a joke there somewhere. Cam didn't take it. I don't know. I don't know.
I didn't.
I know. It's all good. So, anyways, think about the modularity of the bag. But
You just looked at me and I was serious. Like,
know.
you're like,
Oh,
never
I'm like,
mind.
oh, wait,
Well, I'm not joking
what
anymore.
podcast am I doing? But it's those are the things with the actual bag that you need to think about.
Yeah.
And there's probably more, but those are the basics to take a look at.
Yeah,
Right.
I think the nicest thing is like your FAC being separate from your
Yeah.
Like that's a nice thing, like a little portable
Yep.
medical bag that you can just like detach and run over and save a life.
Yeah,
It's great.
exactly.
It's great.
It's also always good. Yep.
Yeah. Before we go any further,
Okay.
COVID-19 sucks big stuff.
Yeah. More than an inch.
Yeah. And this pandemic's brought many challenges upon us.
It has.
We have to use the computers more than we were.
Yeah.
Doing a lot more shopping online, maybe working online. You want to be safe. You
Yeah.
want to go online, but not be yourself
Like,
online.
what if you're looking for inch bag gear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go with a VPN.
Yeah.
The best one ever created on this planet is Surfshark.
And probably on other planets, too.
Probably. It's honestly, it's the best way to go gray man online. You can shield all your information. They don't know where you're at because your IP is in France or something like that because
Yeah.
you can connect to a server there.
Oui.
And you get, if you accidentally click some unsafe Facebook ad.
It was an
and,
accident, dear.
You know, I wasn't looking into Democrats. Okay.
I don't even like them.
It's not going to look like you. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you're going gray man online because you're under a virtual private network. Get notified too if your email gets compromised. I just got one this week.
Yeah.
Don't know why. I didn't go to any dirty sites, but I
Not
was
this week.
warned, which is sweet, that
Yeah.
my email needs the password changed, and I think that happens every week.
I'm so
I've
sick of
changed
changing
my
passwords.
I know so
I
much.
hate it.
But anyways, the other cool thing about Surfshark is if you connect to a server that's in the UK,
Hmm?
you can watch their specific Netflix
Yeah.
library. It's pretty dang cool.
Yeah.
So it's not region bound. Which is
25
super
frames a second. Awesome.
cool. We can't deal with it.
I hate it.
But anyways, cool stuff. If you go to their website, which is surfshark.deals/casual preppers, I don't even think you have to type the code in. But
Just gives it to you.
casual preppers is the code, and you'll get 83% off 24 months.
Is that a lie?
No. Plus,
Yeah.
if that isn't good enough, you get 3 extra months for free.
Good Lord.
27 months for less than $250 a month. You're dumb. You're dumb not
Yep.
to do it.
You don't have it?
It's
Oh,
the,
you're
like,
stupid.
The best insurance plan ever. Anyways, and if you just want to try it for 30 days, risk-free, there you go. So go get it.
Nice.
Go to casual or go to surfshark.deals, casual preppers.
Yeah, I like it. Somebody was saying they need you to do like a little how-to video on how to use it on the router.
On the router?
On the router.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? Maybe you
I
should
should do that because I've been wanting to set it
Yeah.
up.
They're like,
That's
I
a
don't know
good
how
idea.
to do it. I don't know how to do it. They
Okay,
say.
all right.
Do a little TikTok or a little
Shirtless or do you want my shirt on?
I don't know, maybe half and half. Halfway through, pull that sucker off.
Midriff.
Midriff. Midriff's like a jersey, you know, the old school 80s jerseys that have all the holes.
The Everlast.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that too.
Wear gloves. Like cut off fingers. Like anyway.
I think this would be a great video.
I like it.
I like the sound of it.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Well, what do you put in your inch bag?
See, this is where it gets crazy.
This does get crazy.
Like this is the thing about the inch bag.
So if you've been working on your bug out bag, you've already got that mindset.
Yeah.
You know the most important things are going to be how you're going to stay alive, which is your food and your water. So
Internet.
yeah,
Food, water, internet.
yeah, food. So pack your router.
Yeah. Make sure you got the VPN on there, though.
Yeah. Make sure that's set up. So first and the most important is your water. Like how are you going to continue drinking water with your inch bag?
I'm going to use my mouth.
Yeah. This should be your top priority in figuring out like what supplies. It's not as easy as your bug out bag where you can just throw in a filter and a little, container for it.
Yeah.
And just plan on filtering all day long. Because those filters, while the Sawyer Mini is a freaking amazing,
It's a workhorse.
100,000 gallons. That's incredible.
That sounds like a fake number.
It
It's
does.
a real number. That's actually real.
I bet it's 100,001, but they didn't want to be prideful.
Yeah.
So-
We'll just stick at 100,000.
But yeah, so I'm not saying don't throw filters in there because those are the easiest, but you need to consider other ways to keep your water supply going. One, you may come across one source of water the whole time you're out there. So it's like, how are you going to pack that water? So there's a couple of different things to consider here. Those filters are super useful, and so I wouldn't overlook those. Throw in a couple of Sawyer Minis. They're tiny.
Yeah.
100,000, 200,000, 300,000 gallons. That's pretty.
It adds up quick.
Yeah. But also you can get a little bottle that has water purification tablets in there, and those go a long way.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about the filtration. You just scoop up the water, throw one in, and then you're ready to go.
I like those. Sawyer also makes like the big bags that you can just hook the
Yeah, I like that too.
hook the
Because you got a
filter
way
to
to
on the
carry
end.
that that collapses.
So it's like a couple of gallons or something each of those bags with a handle on the top.
You can get the tiny one too. It's like 1 liter.
Yep, you can
and
get
then
that
you get a big
one
one.
Yep.
So, but yeah, you want to have a way to carry the water with you because you're not always going to find a stream. You're not going to always find a lake. If you do, there's going to be contaminated people there, and no one wants contaminated people. All of them are contaminated.
Yep.
You want to be able to prepare that water. Like boiling works, but do you have the supplies to boil? Do you have good pots and pans that can withstand the heat over and over and over again?
Hopefully you do.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a viable method for ever.
Yeah.
Right?
And so really what it comes down to is you want to be carrying some water, a way to carry water, a way to continue filtering the water. And there's those variety of ways, whether it be a filtration pack, purification tabs, or I do like those little osmotic water filters where you just throw them in.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can just go about setting up your camp, come back, and the pouch is full.
And it has
after
flavor.
5 hours. Yeah.
They have flavor.
got
I was
some,
looking at
like-
those the other day, actually. I had them out this weekend. And they're like orange flavor. I'm like, that would be perfect for your kids.
It would.
Do you know what I mean?
It just looks like a big Capri Sun when
Yeah,
it's full. And you
yeah.
just poke it in there. It's been filtered. So anyways, there's some really cool ways. You have to be
But, I mean, that's a lot of
higher
weight.
detail.
But
What's that?
they're a lot of weight if you're going to be carrying a bunch of those, right?
The little packs?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are kind of heavy, huh?
So, yeah, that's just one
like I
thing you
think
have to
5
think
of them weighs 700 pounds.
Yeah, it's not great.
No, but yeah, they are. They're a little bit more. So, anyways, your plans for your water preps have got to go a lot further, and you've got to have alternative ways to obtain that water.
And I think in this situation with an inch bag, I think it's probably prudent to have the water bladder system
I think so too.
because you're going to be doing
yeah,
a lot of hiking.
they talked a lot about that too.
You know, a lot of hiking, and it's obviously great. I mean, it takes up space, but
But you don't know when you're going to come across water again.
don't.
So if you filter it while you're camped,
Yeah.
and you can go, you know, you can just continue restocking and use it along the way.
Absolutely.
And kids just seem like they could go forever when they have accessible water through. I found that out.
Yeah.
And like I'd stressed about, like a stainless steel water bottle or something that can boil. Can you can keep boiling the water in. And I usually stuff like because it takes up a lot of space. That's the sucky thing about
It is.
cookware.
Yeah.
Is it takes up a ton of space. So I usually stuff all the empty space. Like even those stainless steel bottles, I'll open them up and I'll put a bunch of those like little the emergency water packs.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, you could fill it full of water, but these withstand like
Yeah.
the extremes of heat and cold.
Especially for at the beginning in the storage, like you're just this bag waiting to go. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's
for
already
that.
ready to go. 'Cause
It's ready to go.
in an individual pack,
And
packed inside
you'll use
the bottle.
those in the first week or so, and then you
Yeah.
know, then you're on your own. But
So,
at least
yeah.
you have that.
You could even stuff in some of your like your purification water things
Yeah.
inside that container. So,
For sure.
anyways, a good container that can continue to boil over and over, and and sterilize your water.
Mm-hmm.
Next is your food. You're going to want to pack some food with you so
Yeah.
that you can use it immediately, but try and use that last. Like, you really want to, it's almost like, it's funny because you got this bag that's going to keep you alive, that's like your emergency plan, but you also don't want to use the most accessible
Yeah.
emergency supplies.
Yeah.
Like, when you get out there, if you can, go to a place where you can start fishing and use that food
Yep.
and not use up your MREs that you have in your bag. So that comes down to ways of like continuing to obtain food, like small game, snakes, squirrels, rabbits, raccoons, and things like that. You've got to consider that in fishing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't carry a big fishing pole, so you can.
I mean, you can. It
but
depends on what your plan
it's
is.
it's just trickier. Yeah, maybe you're in an area with great fishing.
Yeah.
Maybe you do want to but they have those. If you're a good fly fisherman, they have those container ones that are
Yep.
just in a tube, and then you could throw that in your pack.
I think we got one.
K-Bar has one.
Yeah, I think
That's
I have
one
the
that-
K-Bar one.
I do too.
I don't. It's just
It
tiny.
looks like a handle.
Yeah, it's cool.
And then it extends into,
I think that's great for an inch bag.
I do too.
That's great.
because that's less likely to come into play with a bug out bag.
Yeah.
I've thrown it in my bug out bag because
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, so ways to continue to obtain food:
Mm-hmm.
compact fishing pole, fishing line, tackle, all that.
Yeah.
And you can kind of make a small pack with a lot of that stuff that you can continue to use,
Mm-hmm.
and then you dig up worms and bugs and things like that. So fishing's great. If you're not able to continue watching, your fishing pole and things like that, those yo-yo reels or those automatic reels, those are awesome.
They are awesome, man.
You just pull them out, throw them in, and as soon as it gets, a tug on it, it'll just reel it in itself, which is pretty crazy. And so those are tiny too. I mean, they're just the size of a regular spool of,
Yeah.
And you got your fishing line on there if you need to use it for
Yeah.
other
Having a
fish.
couple of those, I think, is good. 'Cause
Yeah.
You can set them up in a couple of places near camp.
Catch each other,
Yep.
pull your
exactly.
reels in.
But then that way you can just you get to camp, you're doing whatever. Oh, I'm just going to throw those out right now.
Yeah.
And come back later in the day, see what you got,
Yeah, one of our bug out bags had a collapsible fish trap. Remember the
Oh.
mesh one?
That's right. Yeah.
And so you could just tuck that in there. And there's multiple uses for the material if you
Yeah.
had to.
Yeah, sure.
But then it pops out and you stuff food in it and you got a fish trap.
Mhm.
So different ways that you don't have to always be spending the time,
Yeah.
obtaining that food. Snares and traps. There's
Yep.
a lot of different ones. There are definitely ones you want to practice using.
yeah.
They're a bit confusing, but it's something that you can leave and then come back to and hopefully have a fat little squirrel in there to eat.
Yeah, those snares, you can get a pack of 3 and they're really cheap and
Yeah.
they're light. And they take up no space.
That's true.
A pack of 3 of those is nothing. I think for sure get those. And then we've had a couple of different types that we need to kind of go try and use, like
We
the
do.
deadfall trap. That
We had that
got.
deadfall. We set it up once, but
it's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But there's
we
a lot
only
of
have
different
one to
things.
cat. Yeah. We've had a couple of them. So
And a couple of just regular, the catch traps for the
yeah,
legs. or
that's what
whatever.
it was.
The hell are those called?
Catch trap.
Leg catch traps, something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, so you can see how this is different from your bug out bag because
Yeah, way
you
different.
don't need to consider all this stuff. You don't need to be packing all this in your bug out bag. But in this scenario where you're living out of this and surviving with this pack, you've got to add all this stuff in there. Other ways to kill animals, a slingshot, that's a great thing to pack. If you can kill something with a slingshot, you are the man.
Yeah, I've got that later on the list
So
too.
freaking hard.
But
Bows.
do you remember that little weird slingshot thing that we got? That's like a rubber thing.
Yeah, it looks
You
like
know?
a condom.
It looks like a condom with a thing on the end of it.
Yeah. It's got little steel marble,
Yeah.
steel BBs in it.
that wouldn't be that bad because it's weighs
probably
like
get a
nothing.
bird.
Yeah. Oh, for
if
sure.
you're,
Or a squirrel.
Yeah.
Or something.
yeah,
Or even
small
a rabbit.
children.
Yeah.
Small
Little
children.
under 1 or 2.
Yeah.
You could get them.
Yeah. But yeah, no, they have all kinds of little fancy things like that.
Yeah.
You don't even have to have the traditional slingshot.
Yeah.
Bows and a compound bow would
Yep.
be super nice. I would, honestly, I've considered with an inch bag that I'd probably pack my compound bow.
Yeah.
So it's a heavy beast. But
It is. But there's other options. We got that breakdown bow. Do you remember?
Yep.
Which would...
It's tricky to shoot. I tried.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy.
But you'd have to practice with just a regular
But
bow.
that bow is going to be a biznitch to carry everywhere.
Yeah, a compound bow would be.
Yeah.
Crossbow the same way.
Same thing, yeah.
Quite heavy, but
way heavy.
the real nice thing about those is potentially, you don't expend your ammo.
Yes.
Like you can go and recover your bow or your bolt. And so those are just things to consider hunting with. And you're not going to attract attention firing your, 30-30 out in the middle of nowhere. And then obviously a knife. Other uses, not just for hunting, but for preparing things and finishing off an animal.
Yep.
To pack some direct food, some things to consider, like high protein energy bars.
Yeah.
You can throw those in there. Dried fruits and nuts, a pack of like the trail mix. Those are great. Oatmeal, seeds. So just those things that can last a little longer in your bag that you don't have to constantly be cycling out. And then little packets of tea and coffee, sugar like that.
Yeah.
You're going to be adding to the water because just drinking stream water the whole time is a bit depressing.
Oh, for sure.
So even if it's like a Gatorade pack or something, like they don't weigh anything.
No.
So you throw a bunch of those in there. You want something for morale, like chocolate or candy and an immediate carbohydrate, dose. Stock cubes like bouillon, all that. You can add it to anything. Cooking up some oatmeal, throw a bouillon cube in
Even
there.
if you just put it in some hot water,
it's
like drinking
soothing.
broth.
I know.
You know
It's
what I
like,
mean?
I'm sick today.
Yeah.
Got a sore throat.
I'm just gonna lay in bed.
But no, those
watch the birds.
They do go rancid though, so you got to
they?
watch out for those because they got like animal fat in there, human fat. They're gross.
Yeah.
But dried soup mixes are great.
Oh yeah.
Another thing is Jello packets because you can just like get a hot cup of Jello. I do it all.
Hot
But
cup of Jello.
something if you're traveling and moving through like the winter, it's
Yeah.
just something that you could give
For sure.
your kids or something like that.
Or hot chocolate.
Or hot chocolate. Mineral salts or salt and pepper are crucial. You're going to want your spices. You're going to want your salt and pepper. You don't know what you're going to be eating.
No.
Maybe you're going to be eating a mushroom that you found or
I wouldn't
a
suggest it.
truffle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those scare me.
Yeah, I know. But I that was one thing I threw in here is you probably should look into, unless you're already ahead of the game and you're a botanist, like a book that shows like
I
what
talked about that
edible
later, too.
plants. Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
And then you got to have a way to prepare the food and continue, cooking.
This
and
is
making
the
it.
part that like takes up a lot of space.
It does. It
It's the
sucks.
hard part.
Because, yeah, it is. Even in my bug out bag, I have some cookware in there. And I'm like, it takes up so much freaking space.
It does, man.
But you can't have like a collapsible thing that works very well that's going to withhold
It's
like
so hard.
heating over and over and over.
Yep.
Like the barrel cook is a great way to heat, but it's bulky. That's the only
Well,
downside.
and you have to have all those packs.
Yeah,
If
and once you're out of those, you can cook with that
Yeah.
thing still, but it's too big. But it is an option.
Yeah, for sure.
But you want to have good cookware, and this is part that I've tried several different little aluminum ones. I had like one Coleman set that was like complete trash.
Yeah.
like
They're
the
not great.
aluminum warped, and
Yep.
so you want to get good cookware, and there's a ton of different things. You just got to try it.
I just like the straight up little pot.
That's
like that
what
to me. It
Yep.
feels like it lasts the longest. It does the job every time.
Yeah,
you
it's
need.
usually like a coated
Yep.
aluminum,
and it's not going to warp like you're talking about.
but stainless steel's great. You just like most of them are aluminum for weight, and there's a lot of cheap trash out
for
there.
sure. Yeah.
A canteen for water, we talked about that already. Something to carry water that can also be used to boil, to cook soup, to cook your delicious Jello hot water.
Yellow soup.
Yeah. Or lettuce soup if you're Russian. And then there's your direct survival foods. Like I always throw in a couple packs of Mountain House stuff.
Yeah.
Just because it's easy to prepare, it tastes good, and it's not heavy. And then MREs, like don't pack your bag clear full of MREs because most of the time they're just disgusting and they weigh a lot and they take up space. But having 1 or 2 in there is not a bad idea. Because then if you cannot find anything, like if you were bugging out or living off the wilderness here in Vernal, you got to have a backup plan if you can't find food. And then, like I said, a plant or survival guide for eating wilderness foods and things like that.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is I would have some kind of survival vitamin.
Like a multivitamin.
Yeah.
Of some
What's
sort.
the survival?
Surviviguard?
Surviviguard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they store for a long time. You can just throw a small bottle in. Even if you're taking that once or twice a week, you're getting essential vitamins and minerals that you're not going to always get from eating off from the land.
If you're just eating fish every day or
Roots,
roots,
dandelions.
Nummy.
Yeah. So anyway, that's I mean,
great.
food and water. There's a lot of planning that goes into that.
Yeah.
And I would recommend trying out different like pots, pans, and things like that, so you're not carrying a ton of useless trash.
Absolutely. So there's a whole bunch of other things that we're going to talk about here. Let's start out with weapons. And Cam's kind of gone over a few of these already, but it gets kind of tricky, right? You're going to want weapons for several things in this situation. Number one, for self-defense, obviously. If you're in an SHTF situation where this inch bag is needed, people are going to be a little weird at that point, right? So you're going to have something to defend yourself, to defend the gear that you have, to defend whatever camp that you've made in this SHTF situation. The other thing is going to be hunting, and Cam talked about that as well. So obviously the first thing you think of it is a gun, right? I mean,
Hunting's a little easier with a gun.
Much easier with a gun, actually. They're obviously super great for both of these. They're great for self-defense. They're great for hunting. But in a long-term survive in the wilderness type situation, guns are a little bit harder because the ammo, for one, is heavy, right? The gun itself is probably going to be heavy. We'll talk about some that maybe aren't so much, but plus your ammo isn't renewable. And so once you're out of that, unless you're going back into somewhere to scavenge, you're kind of out of luck. You can't really reload. You know what I mean? That takes up way more supplies. So, not saying that you shouldn't get a gun, but just
not at all.
Just think about those things as you're doing it. Because there's things like the 1022, the takedown, which would be great, and there's like the Chiappa and those other types of survival rifles that are great for these situations. And
there's like, I mean, we'll probably get ripped apart saying whatever, I think it's a good idea. This was for me, okay?
Yeah.
But my handgun of choice was the Buckmark 22, just because I can carry a ton of bullets, kill small game, and it has a lot of attachments.
Yeah, and it's great for self-defense, too. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah. So, anyways, I know that's not a huge caliber, amazing weapon, but But you just have to like choose what would be most worthwhile.
Yep.
And like you said, with the ammo, you probably want to be super conservative with that.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It's like, do I even want to use this at all until I really have to?
Until you absolutely have to. And you can also get like those breakdown type assault rifles that just break down and you can get them in your pack. But again, they're going to be super heavy.
Yeah, and a lot of space.
You got to determine if you're good enough with that to make it worth it and all those types of things. So think about those for weapons. So, in the shorter term, they're going to be nice to have, like a handgun, I think is great because it's smaller.
Yeah.
It weighs less. They're great for close quarters. You can conceal it on yourself if somebody comes up, all those types of things. Obviously, rifles are much better for longer range. Rifles are much better for hunting, all those types of things. But a rifle becomes much harder to carry and all those other, things. So you just got to think about that.
Yeah.
Cam talked about this bow and arrow. There's all different types. Like you said, compound. There's a recurve. There's crossbows. There's the collapsible survivable like we talked about. It's great because you can reuse the ammo as long as you don't just shoot them directly into a rock, right? But that's probably going to happen at some point.
It is.
And you're going to have actually a better chance of making ammo for that than you would making ammo for a gun, obviously.
True.
So you could probably, if you're, handy, figure out a way to do it.
You got that chicken on a leash.
Exactly.
You've got renewable feathers.
Yeah, you got lots of feathers. You got breakfast. You got feathers. So you're good to go. The problem
this is the ultimate plan. I know. Why did we not think of it?
I need like a chicken attachment to my bag and everything. So like you can put him like
a
kid.
battle box into chicken.
Like a kid that you put in your pack. It's like a little chicken slot. You know what I mean? Yeah.
There's people nearby.
Be quiet.
That's the thing. Didn't draw people in with freaking chicken clucking around.
I heard a chicken.
Did you hear chicken, Daryl? Let's go find it.
Pretty sure that's a chicken. I
can go over some chicken wings right now.
Chicken attachment, man. That's like the modularity in the bag. You know, you just want to take your chicken out.
Does this have a chicken attachment?
Yeah, I gotta talk to Everly Stock and see if we can get one for our bags. You know, maybe it's just like a Molly attachment type thing.
It's got a little tether.
Yeah,
Get
so
your
they
chicken
can
on there.
You can just let them walk, but you can also zip them right back up there, and they can
just
stick
hanging by
right
their legs.
stick around.
If you have to cross a river or something.
Yeah, and then a little net under them in case they lay an egg. You know what I mean? Because if they lay an egg when you're walking,
you don't want to
you're gonna be
freaking
pissed.
spoil that.
No. So, yeah. That's like
It's
the
a
advanced
full-on
version.
chicken coop at the bottom of your inch bag. It's a great idea.
Dude, I'm not joking. And they're light.
Yeah.
Man, they're super
They
light.
are.
Right?
Yeah. Chicken bones. They're hollow.
Yeah,
They don't weigh
man.
nothing.
I think it's a
Even
great
if they
idea.
fly, it may take a little weight off from your bag. If they're just fluttering above you.
Just like smacking them a little bit. I'm
it
getting
feels
tired. Hey.
Could you pull it a little bit?
Thank you there, bestie. Yeah, but the bows, it's hard to hunt with a bow. It's not easy. Cam can attest to that. And they're not great for any situation over 50 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I can hunt 70 yards.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible.
An
but
excellent
like,
hunter, maybe.
50 and under is like you're the range that most people are hunting with.
Yeah.
So that's tough. Knives.
I think if you're killing, for killing an animal to stay alive, I think there's gonna be a lot more stress involved
for sure
than just for game.
Yep.
And so it's like
it's gonna be harder.
Every shot matters. So
knives, great tool, great weapon, obviously for self-defense, super close quarters type stuff. Obviously, for hunting, they're great because obviously afterwards you can. It sounded like a chirp from
that chicken acting up again.
Be quiet there, Spark.
Thought you got a muzzle on that chicken.
Fuzzbert, be quiet. So you can obviously field dressing animals and stuff with a knife. You got to have it, right? A fixed blade is great, and a folder. You could also, for self-defense, this isn't necessarily your bag, but
a fixed folder.
A fixed folder. You actually do have those.
Yeah,
a belt knife and a boot knife are great for this situation. But think about also having a small sharpener with you, because depending on how long you're out there, that thing is going to get dull. You know what I mean? So you're going to want to make sure that thing stays sharp.
And bringing that up, you're going to be dressed different if you know that you're not going to be coming back home.
For sure.
Like you're going to have a much more tactical approach, like carrying a lot outside of your backpack. But.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Cam talked about the slingshot as well. It's great for hunting small animals. It's hard. If you ever try to do it, it's not easy, but you can get good at it.
Yeah.
The great thing is ammo is everywhere. Like you'd never run out of ammo.
That's true.
Like there's always small rocks and things like that. So I think it's great to have one of those. In your
I think
pack,
so too. And if you're shooting, if you're hunting windows, guaranteed.
Yeah, they're great.
Guaranteed.
Plus, it's fun. They're kind of fun to shoot.
They are
so
fun.
like you'd be, you can pass the time.
Bloop.
Yeah,
Bloop.
Putting up cans and stuff.
Pretty silent.
Yeah, exactly.
Shooting up cans. Yeah, it gives you something to do to teach your kids. How to shoot a.
I'm gonna start training my kids.
I'm gonna start training my kids to use like the
old
sling.
School, the sling. A hatchet, an axe, or a machete. I think you got to pick one of these. You got to have one for this
Which
situation.
One do you want me?
I don't know. It's totally up to you. Maybe they could be used as self-defense. Obviously, a machete would be great for self-defense.
Yeah.
But they're a very important tool in this situation. You're gonna need one of these, most likely. For fires, for shelters, for traps, and all those types of things. One of those is going to be very key.
Yeah.
So you got to
building shelters like.
Yeah.
You gotta love it.
Because it's not like, in this situation, it's not like in a bug out where you're just going to do a quick shelter.
You're going to make your tarp shelter every day.
You may have a shelter that you stay at for weeks at a time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're going to want a nicer one. So I think one of those things is a must.
A ton of bushcrafting videos of them building some sweet ones. But
never ending, yeah.
Any of those tools, you kind of need one.
Mm-hmm. A shovel. Probably the small collapsible type.
Full-on cobalt shovel from Lowe's.
Yeah. I'm thinking more of like the SOG entrenching tool, the one that breaks down.
I use that one for gardening all the time.
Oh, yeah. But some of them even have like serrated edges on them. Have you seen
that
those?
one does.
That could be nasty.
I think that's the one I have.
A nasty self-defense tool as well. But, you're going to be digging holes maybe for shelters. You dig a cat hole, bury dead bodies, fire holes, water holes, snow caves, all those types of things. If you have a shovel, you're gonna be in a much better situation. I think they're heavy, but they're gonna be worth it. A tarp. Cam mentioned this a second ago, but for quick shelters, I think you have to have a tarp in
You
your
do.
bag.
There's so many uses for it.
They're super compact. They're useful in so many different situations. You can use them for just that could be just your shelter, or you can incorporate them into a bigger, nicer shelter.
Yeah.
As the roof type thing. But you could do a small tent, and some people will do that. But to me, I just feel like
I think the tarp is the way to go.
a tarp is the way to go because there's so many other uses for it. Then you get to the sleeping situation. You have to have some sort of a sleep system. Bivy sack, sleeping bag. I think in this situation, a sleeping bag's probably better because you're going to be out so many days.
Yeah.
In a bug out bag, you can probably get away with just a quick little bivy sack to get you through a few days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm definitely having both.
Yes.
Because the bivvy's so
Yep.
heat efficient.
Yeah, it is.
Because you think you're going to be like, oh, it's middle of July, and you go up on the mountain and
It gets
freeze
cold.
your nuts off.
Yeah, for sure. But if you're going to do a sleeping bag, you're going to have to get a very high-end backpacking sleeping bag, and they're expensive.
Yeah.
But they're really lightweight. They're really compact.
They are expensive.
And they do a good job of keeping you warm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So throwing in a couple extra maybe emergency blankets
Mm-hmm.
may not be a bad idea as well. And then consider, I don't know if you want to, but consider a sleeping pad and like a backpack pillow.
If you're going to be sleeping on the ground
I know,
a
man.
lot,
Yeah.
a sleeping pad I think is essential.
But again, they take up space. You just
and
got
a good quality one
Yeah.
is costly.
It is. So you just have to decide what works best for you in this situation. Multi-tool, obviously. You got to have a multi-tool. Consider a silkcock key, Cameron. Okay?
Slipcock.
Slipcock. Yeah. Spitcock. That's what you call
Oh,
it.
yeah, that's what it was.
You may be wandering through an urban territory or something like that.
Not know how that slipped in my head.
You may be
I
wondering.
don't watch a lot of.
Yeah.
I don't watch any. Okay.
I don't watch a lot of that kind. But you may be
Yeah,
going
lot's not the
through
best word to use there.
urban territory and you need some water, and it could come in handy. And they're pretty small. Think about it. Spitcock. A compass. Yeah, you're gonna want a basic compass, even if it's just one of those that like hang off of your zipper or something. Not on your pants, but just.
I was
like
like,
off
did
of
you
your
watch
bag.
Band of Brothers? He keeps his in
Does
his,
he?
like front zipper. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A little teeny one.
Yeah, it's just worth it, man. And then also having a basic map of the area you're gonna be, hopefully, it could save your life.
Yeah.
You don't know, man.
There's like these little events, which we need to go into the navigation episode.
Yes, I know.
But like you can sign up for these things where they have like these GPS, and you don't use GPS. You just use your map and your compass. Like I definitely want to do something like that to
I think
learn
they
how
actually
to
do
navigate.
some of that in Heber at Fieldcraft Survival.
Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah. See
for
that?
sure.
You got to learn how to use a compass.
Yep. Something to think about. This isn't necessarily in your inch bag, but it would be in your inch kit. Is maybe a survival watch. A lot of people just don't want to go anywhere that there's electronics, but I think they're stupid. Because a lot of times,
and we die by time.
But but a survival watch, I believe, is a great addition to a kit like this. Besides obviously telling time, a lot of times they'll have a compass. They're going to be solar powered most of the time, so you don't worry about anything like that. They're going to have different weather tools like barometers, thermometers. Sometimes they even have GPS and GPS marking, so it could be huge plus to you as long as those things are working, right? As long as it wasn't an EMP and the satellites are still rolling.
Exactly.
Because most of the time that's gonna be the case.
Yeah.
That stuff is still gonna work.
But you can get some pretty fancy like what are they called? The watches that recharge by motion.
Yeah, for sure.
Solar ones. But the medical uses for a watch, like the time.
Yes.
Like there's tons of uses for that, like
For sure.
measuring respiratory rates and all that. So yeah, I think that's crucial to have a watch.
I've been wanting to get a really good survival watch, but they're so expensive.
I
But
want
really
one
won't.
too.
I know.
That's not going to take up my whole forearm. Some of them are just like looks like you have the
thing
Fallout.
from Fallout. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Your Pit Boy.
Solar lighting. You're gonna want to be able to light up your camp from time to time with some lights. Obviously a headlamp. You have to have a headlamp in this kit. I don't care what anyone says. Get a headlamp. If you want to save a little bit of space, they even have those headlamps that are just a Velcro, and you can put them on your hat with the patch, and it just goes like that if you don't want to have the headband.
Yeah.
But anyways, have some sort of a headlamp because you're going to have one. But a camp lantern wouldn't be a bad idea either, because there's actually some of those that are solar powered, plus they can charge stuff for you as well.
It's awesome.
Like, why not have it? And they're really lightweight too. So think
yeah,
about
no, I think those things
some
are
lighting.
important. I think too with like batteries,
Mm-hmm.
if you can like keep them sealed but in the device or whatever, and then that's your last resort. Like,
Yep.
you can't crank it. You can't. The
Yep.
sun's gone forever.
Exactly.
And you have batteries.
Then you have it at the last resort. Yep. A solar charging kit for any of this gear that you might have that needs to be charged. Just a small panel and a battery. It's a great addition to your kit. Your phones still may work.
Yeah.
Other devices still may work, and you might want to keep those going. And they just have those ones maybe you can throw on the back of your pack as you're hiking. That'll
Yeah.
charge stuff up as you go.
Yeah.
Why not?
Survival Frog, is that what that one is?
Yeah. The
That one's
Survival Frog
awesome
one.
because it's got 2 little carabiners,
Mhm.
so you could essentially hang it off the back of your pack in the solar,
And open it up.
and
Yep.
then at night you can throw your wireless charging device on it
Yep.
or plug it in. It's freaking
Absolutely. Garbage bags. There's just so many uses. It doesn't make any sense not to have a couple in there.
Yeah. Pick up,
Yeah.
pack it in, pack it
Pack
out.
it in, pack it out. A saw of some sort. There's so many different. Aside from a hatchet, a saw like a bow saw, or even one of those hand chainsaws. Something that you can saw things with.
I'm like like my favorite is that wicked
Yep.
bone saw
And
thing.
that's just like a flip out.
Yeah,
saw,
it's
right?
aluminum.
Yep.
It's super light for how big it is,
And you can actually
it's
just put it
like
on
the
your
most
belt.
aggressive freaking saw I've ever used.
But if you're gonna be making any types of shelters,
Oh, it's so much better.
it's gonna be so much easier.
You don't have to chop or anything. You saw.
It's great. Yeah. So get some sort of a saw. We have to think about fire starting, obviously. Number one is going to be some lighters. Have several lighters, at least 3 in this kit. Probably more because it's going to be a long time. But ferro rods for sure. At least 1.
Lightning rods.
Lightning rods. Yep.
Bring a
Iron
forest
rods.
fire down on.
Some sort of fire starting aid. Hold to it, buddy. But kindling of some sort, a fire start tinder. You got to have a way to help start fires when it's really wet and things like that. May not hurt to have like a lightweight mirror, like the little lens, things, or just like those really cheap lenses that you can get that don't weigh anything and take up no space whatsoever. I think something like a tinder maker, like the Smith's Pack Pal, the
I love
little
it.
cheese grater
Yeah.
thing is freaking awesome.
It is.
And it does
Because they have a lot of those cheese grater ones, but they're like open,
Yeah,
which they're
I don't-
fine. But I like collecting it. It like
Yeah.
packs it in there.
Yeah, you
And
can even
then-
do it and then just put it away, and then you've got some if you need to
Yeah.
make a quick fire. So, obviously, fire starting has to be a big thing to think about in your
Yeah.
kit. So, emergency radio. This is one where we talked about in a bug out bag. It probably doesn't make sense, but in this bag, it probably does. A small compact radio. I feel like you need to have some sort of communication with the outside, figuring out what's going on, when you can come back, right? There's no way to know that unless you have some sort of communication, and an emergency radio is one of those. I like the ones that have the 3 forms of power: the battery, the solar,
I do
and
too.
the crank.
A little bigger,
Yep.
but
Yep.
multiple uses.
But you can get the small ones. I've found ones that are like this big.
Really? They crank too?
That do crank as
Oh,
well.
sweet.
And some of them they even have a light on them. You know what I mean? So it's the thing with this type of pack is you have to find things that do multiple different functions.
Yeah.
Right. And so if this can
You
be.
don't want just a crank,
Yeah.
power supply, and a solar power
But it's
supply.
not just an emergency radio. Maybe it's also a light. Maybe it's also a charger.
Yeah.
It's all these different things. So think about an emergency radio that has all those functions. You got to have some cordage in this pack
For sure.
because you're going to be making shelters and doing different things, tying up your chicken, all that kind of stuff. So you have to have some paracord, at least 100 feet, but probably more depending on what your situation is.
I'm glad I gave you all this stuff.
Yeah, I know. But I really like the survival cord because it has fishing line and it sometimes has fire tinder
Yeah.
and other things in it. So those
Just
are
like
nice
you were
to have.
saying, like get something that
Multiple uses.
does everything.
Exactly.
Well, just get that one thing that does everything.
Yeah.
It's great.
One piece of gear. Maybe you need a gas mask. Maybe you don't. I don't know. Depends on the situation.
Right.
But even-
Have one available, throw in maybe.
yeah,
but-
maybe you have at least an N95.
Yeah,
in there
see,
to
I
help
think
out.
that's super important.
Yeah, Dr. Fauci would say so. A field
He sure
repair
would.
kit.
Yeah.
This is kind of crucial in this bag because you're going to have to repair your bag, your tarps, your tent, your clothing, whatever it is. You have to repair that
Yeah.
stuff because it's going to be an indefinite amount of time. So you need a sewing kit and a field repair kit to, and maybe like some duct tape and Gorilla Tape to help out with fixing
I think
stuff.
overlooking this stuff like
It's a
happens
huge-
all the time.
yeah.
Thank goodness for Battle Box. They always throw like a little zipper repair kit
Yep.
or like a casting material for
Yep.
broken, shovels and stuff. It's pretty crucial gear, but I think it gets overlooked a ton.
In this situation, I think it becomes even more crucial.
Yeah, it has to be
know?
in that bag.
Yeah. A survival guide. 100%.
An emotional repair kit.
Good luck with that. Just straight up Xanax. That's what it is. A survival guide. You have to have one. I don't care what anyone says. Just get a survival guide.
There's no way you can remember all the details of all this information.
There's like 10 people on Earth that can do that.
Right.
Those guys don't need a survival guide.
They have a TV show.
Yes. And
Some
if you're
of them
one of those
shouldn't even
guys,
have TV
if you're one of those guys, you ain't listening anyways.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
everybody else needs a survival guide. I don't care who you are. Something to show you the edible plants, some tips on hunting, some tips on shelter making, first aid, water navigation. That kind of has everything included. I've got one that I think I keep in my bug out bag. Obviously, it's has everything.
Yeah.
And so I love it. It's small. It's compact. There's even like the backpackers.
Even if you find out you're so smart, you can just burn that stuff.
Exactly. The backpackers survival guide. There's a couple of them, but
To the universe.
To the universe, yeah. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Backpacking Universe, something like that. But get a survival guide.
Totally agree.
Cash.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you're not going to need it at all, but maybe you will. Worst comes to worst, it's Tinder. Right? You got some kindling.
Yep.
But maybe some precious metals. You just have to think about what situation you might
Mold
might
it into
get
a sword.
Exactly.
Pure silver sword for werewolves.
Oh,
you don't know. You don't know.
You don't know what kind of situation you're in. It could
Amulets.
be a werewolf.
Did you mention those?
I haven't, but
I already have one.
Well, that's
We
the
already
thing.
have a little.
Yeah, but
sea
sea
salt.
salt, it's also seasoning, but it's also an amulet.
That's
right?
true.
So there's that. Documents. You could possibly run into a situation where you need identification.
I've had my vaccine for COVID. You
It's
go
like-
into the forest.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome to go to the forest. Otherwise, you need to wear a
Space.
mask.
12 feet. We want a little bit more.
12,000 feet between people. All right. You could also have a hard copy and a digital backup with you of that stuff. It's just you need to figure out what you want to do. You may want to put some seeds in there. I mean, this situation may
Kobe,
be
non-binary.
undetermined. Pull his pants down. Take a look. That's what it says. You ready?
Check underpants.
Check his genitals. He's been checking all day.
Fit in the schedule of checking
Yeah.
genitals.
Don't touch my chicken.
Wait, what?
What are you talking about? No, I really got a chicken on my back. Don't touch it. But you could be in a long situation where you want to start growing some stuff.
Yeah.
I don't friggin' know.
Yeah.
You know, so throw some seeds in there. They don't weigh anything.
No.
All those little packs we got from survival boxes and those little tiny packs, you could throw 150 of them in there. No one would even know. You know what I mean?
True.
Plus, you can make a little soup out of them, seed soup or
Yeah,
something.
screw
I don't
it.
know.
I ain't using these corn seeds.
Yeah, corn soup.
Corn soup now. Boom.
Yeah, mix it with my chicken eggs. We're good to go.
Mustard seed. Yep.
So this part is a little bit more intricate, and that's the first aid kit. Obviously, you have to have a much bigger first aid kit when it comes to a pack like this. If you have daily meds in this situation, I don't know, just kill yourself. I don't know what you're gonna do because it's gonna be very, very hard to live off the
I would
land.
grind them all up, smash them into a ball, just nibble on it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's like a bath, like a one of those bath bombs, but it dissolves when you lick it.
But you
Don't
can
follow
mix it.
directions from me about that.
What are those candies that you used to get? You could melt them in the microwave and then you could stick them all together. Do you remember those?
I did that with a lot of candy. So I
Did
don't
you?
know. Yeah.
They were like Starburst,
My
but they were
mom would get
harder.
pissed.
Oh, Now and Laters. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
But then
I didn't know you could.
Oh, we used to do that all the time.
Oh, my mom would be so pissed because
Oh,
I used
yeah.
to like melt gummy worms.
And
She's
it'd
like,
be all-
"Wah! Can't get it out.
But you could mix them
Still do it.
with the candy and have this big ball of medication and candy. And then you can just lick. Both of them. I don't know why, though.
Medication and candy.
Yeah.
What's that? Don't touch that.
Look
It's just
forward
like
to it.
wrapped up in this big ball of tin
Yeah.
foil. Don't touch that.
Yeah. That
That's
keeps
my,
me alive.
That's my life ball.
Yeah, keeps my heart a ticking right there. You know,
Yep.
but okay. So you can put some extras in there from whatever that is, and you may have to ration them. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But think about some alternate ways to treat whatever disease it is that you've got.
Or may get.
Or you may get. But you may find that all of your ailments leave as soon as you leave society.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
That is true.
I feel better. People aren't here.
Yeah. Just heart failure, gone.
All back. Everything's good. I can get an
Coronary
erection.
artery disease
Yeah.
went away.
Erections are coming back. Rashes are leaving.
It's true. A lot of the
My hair's
emotional
grown back.
effects will definitely
Yeah, you just
change.
don't know.
Could be worse, could be better.
Obviously, you're going to want the basics in your first aid kit. Band-Aids, antibiotic creams, OTC meds, pain, stomach meds. You're going to want all that stuff. You want a buttload of it, too, because you don't know how long you're going to be out there. Bandages, splints, gauze, tourniquet, probably. Something you don't want to overlook is insect repellent and
man.
insect cream.
Speaking of disease,
Yeah, insects.
Spreaders.
Yep. I don't know. Maybe you want to put suture in there. I kind of asked Cam to maybe help me out in this. Also the first aid field guide.
I already did.
Oh yeah, first aid field guide.
Smash all your pills together.
If you don't have it in your survival guide, get a first aid field guide as well.
Yes.
You're gonna want
Just
it.
get the friggin' Prepper's Medical Handbook.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, it is a little bigger,
It's great though.
but oh my gosh, it has like everything in there.
Bug spray. I talked about that already. Sunscreen.
Yeah.
Cameron. If you're out in the
Cameron.
sun, Cameron. Did I really say that?
It
I
sound
meant to
like
say Cameron.
Creamerin.
But that sound disgusting. But I've asked Cam to weigh in a little bit here to if there's anything else he wants to add.
Yeah, so spoiler alert, like the medical tip will kind of go into some of this detail. But like with your bug out bag, a little first aid kit that you get, from Amazon or something is probably sufficient. I've always talked about like going through those and replacing the stickers with real Band-Aids.
Yeah.
Because that's literally
yeah.
all you've got.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, you want to get a little more into the detail. Like we've talked about like trauma kits and stuff, and do you really need them? Most packs you don't. But in this case, you probably do want to learn how to use the more sophisticated medical supplies, because you don't know if you're going to be dealing with a fracture, a gunshot wound. Like these things are more likely when you're living out away from anything, out of the safety of your home and shelter. And so you've got to really develop like a much more
I'm
sophisticated.
gonna have to grease that
I
arm.
know,
It's
man.
making noise. Oh,
Oh,
if this studio's a
podcast
rocking,
just changed.
don't come a knocking.
So yeah, but make your kit like the biggest thing I think is to make your individual fact. Like don't buy. I think you can get away with buying those like Amazon kits and throw them into your bug out bag because it's 3 days. You're gonna get back to your regular medical supplies and things like that. But this is where you really want to go through individually and put in high quality materials. And you probably want to do more of the like suturing stuff and learn how to do that or have a guide on how to do that. Your trauma packing gauze and your splints, like things like that. You're going to want a more advanced FAC than you do with your bug out bag.
And you're going to talk about a little more of that later, right?
Some of that.
We won't go into too much. But your first aid kit.
Well, I guess I'm not actually. So
You're not. He's not.
But that's really
Okay.
I just was thinking I actually have a different thing.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's just that. It's just where you weren't going to pack that much stuff with your bug out bag. This time, where you're going to be dealing with more medical problems, you want a more hand-picked, like specific, high-quality medical kit.
And you were saying that the Prepper's Medical Handbook actually has a really good kit.
It does
in
on the back.
of it, right?
It goes into all the details of like what medicines, how many like you probably should take with you, what prescriptions to get, and I mean it's like the ultimate guide. So go get it.
Something you may want to think about, maybe not, scouting gear, some sort of gear to look out into the distance to see where you're going, right? Binos or a monocular of some sort. Obviously, the monocular is less weight,
It's great
probably.
for me. I love it.
Cam's got one
Not
eye.
bad eye.
Works perfect.
Yeah, lightweight. Don't carry 2 lenses.
Exactly. So just think
Those
about
lenses too. I mean, you take out and start fires with.
Yeah, definitely you can. So clothing gets to be a little hard because depending on how long you're out,
Gets stiff and dirty.
sure does.
It gets
Definitely
hard.
gets dirty. But I think when it comes down to it, layering is your best option because you're gonna encounter so many different weather scenarios that you're going to have everything covered. You're going to want to be able to go from short sleeve to Eskimo in like a day, especially if you live here in Utah.
Seriously.
That's just how it goes.
The high desert is
Yeah.
like extremes at any moment.
Yep. Obviously, shirts, socks, underwear, jackets, hats, gloves,
Briefs.
Briefs, yeah. You just have to figure out what's best for you. Something you don't want to forget when it comes to clothing is some sunglasses.
Yeah.
Again, it can be overlooked, but you get out there, and if it's
Middle of winter or middle of summer.
either way, keep your eyes.
The sun's always there.
Yeah. I always have sunglasses everywhere I go just because my eyes are super sensitive to light. But
Sensitive.
they just get sad when the light's out
I'd
there.
look over there, but it stings.
You're just jealous. That's what you sounded just like.
Just
Kip.
yeah.
You may also need some snow boots or some all-weather type footwear. Who knows?
Yeah.
Either or.
Yeah.
Or something like all-weather is probably best that you can wear throughout the entire year.
Yeah.
Rain gear, probably going to need that. Maybe it's just a lightweight poncho, but you have to think about that situation. Bandanas are great because they have multiple uses, right? And you can use them as wearing on your head.
Mm-hmm.
You put them on your leg to look cool.
Bandit.
Bandit type around your face.
COVID
Makeshift
protection.
mat, COVID protection. All that kind of stuff. So think about a bandana.
Tourniquet
Tourniquet.
stuff.
And some of them have multiple uses, like the
There's
Coulter
a guide
Cole
on
ones we
there,
have, yeah.
Star guide.
Yep. You may need to think about mosquito netting, depending on the time of year and where you're at,
Yeah.
because holy crap, nothing worse than being eaten alive by mosquitoes when you're trying to survive.
Yeah. Even in the medical handbook, he recommends, old William W. Forgy
Mm-hmm.
recommends like a malaria type of medication to
really?
have on, that's one of the prescription meds. But
That makes sense.
I mean, most deadly animal on the planet
It is.
a freaking mosquito. So.
100%. The last thing I would say when it comes to clothing is a belt, and get a high quality belt. And if you can get a survival belt, why not? Cam and I both have the slide belt survival belt. It's got so many different uses. Obviously, it has a knife on it.
Yeah.
It has a ferro rod. It has a light. But the actual belt itself can be used for
So many
multiple
things.
Yeah,
Carrying wood, carrying your wood, carrying.
exactly.
No, I do love that belt.
Whipping your chicken.
Yeah. The little Velcro one for the cash belt
Oh,
is also an alternative that you can just pack stuff in
For sure. Yeah.
from Wazoo.
Yep. You may want to think about camp security because you may be at a camp for
Security
several
guard.
weeks. Yeah, just bring with you a retired police officer.
A ranger.
Yeah, a ranger of some sort.
You won't come with me?
Yeah.
I need you to.
But you could think about, your cordage could help in this situation for different types of really simple trip alarms.
Yeah.
But you can also get like the tripwire alarms that we've gotten. They actually have like the blank on them that make a lot of noise.
Yeah, I have that one
Scares you.
in my bug out bag.
Yeah.
The Phythops one.
Yep, it scares you,
Pretty
plus
cool.
it wakes you up, all that kind of stuff. So think about camp security, whatever that
It's
is.
a wake up wire.
Wake up wire.
Just
That's what we
turn
call
and
it.
pull it. I'm gonna wake up.
I'm up. Hygiene. This is a very
Have it.
yeah. I'm getting there. But you have to stay clean if you want to stay healthy. You're going to have to stay clean throughout this, and it's very hard to do this living off the land. So you have to have some soap. Have soap.
Yeah.
Lots of it if you can. It's hard because you can only carry so much with you, and you're gonna have to, ration that stuff for a while. But have some soap with you.
But seriously, the health benefits.
Yeah.
I don't want a toothache.
No.
I don't want an abscess tooth.
I don't either. Yeah. Toilet paper of some sort, or have an
Or a
alternate way.
hemorrhoid.
Or a hemorrhoid, exactly. Have a small towel that you bring with you. There's some camp towels and some backpacking towels that you can bring.
Yep.
That are like microfiber or something. They're really great, but you're gonna want something to wash your face off with, and just get a towel, toothbrush, and some toothpaste. Obviously, something you might not think about is nail clippers.
Oh my gosh.
Because if you ever
I
get
would
like an
overlook those.
ingrown toenail or fingernail
Yeah.
or something like that, it's not great, right? So think about that, and then some shampoo. Keep your
Yes.
head all
Head and shoulders.
Head and shoulders. Don't want the dandruff to get out of control. So think about it. The last thing I want to talk about is if you're doing this with a family, it becomes infinitely harder.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh, yeah.
I put down here, just get 10 more bags like the one you just packed because you're going to have to.
Yeah.
But you will have to think about other things like baby. If you have a baby, you're going to have baby stuff. Babies need lots of things. If you got kids, you're going to have games, things to keep them occupied. If you got women's with you, they have their whole set of issues that come with them. You got to have the women's stuff.
Watch your mind.
I love them all, but they all got other things going on, right?
Their bodies are more complicated. That's what you're trying
Yeah.
to say.
Ours are much easier to deal with.
Yeah.
You got a pet coming with you besides your chicken, like a dog or something. You're gonna have to have a leash, a tether, maybe like a collapsible bowl, something like that.
Yeah.
Because you're not my kids. There's no way in hell they're gonna let me leave the dog.
No,
behind.
you're not
The
going
dog's
to.
coming with us, and the cat, and the 4 chickens. 3 chickens now. One died. So, yeah, basically like a petting zoo that's out in the
You should need a
wilderness.
train car that looks like the zoo
I
train
know,
car
that's-
or the circus.
The circus one, I know.
Bringing all my animals.
Yep, and then like paper and writing tools could be useful for many
Right in
different
the
things.
rain.
Yeah, but man, there's so much. I mean, we hit
That's
on
a lot
here.
of stuff, but an inch bag is.
It's actually doable.
lot of
There's a
stuff.
couple of videos online that I saw. One I saw from is it Step One Survival, I think, on YouTube. He goes through his bag. I mean, it's full.
Oh, nice.
And it has like
An inch
most of
bag.
this type of stuff. So there's a bunch of them that you can
Yeah,
go
seeing
see.
it's probably
Yeah.
an
Because
easier.
you listen to this and you're like, is that even possible?
Yeah.
Because that is a lot of stuff. It actually is possible to do.
I
if
feel
you're
like I
smart
go
about it.
overboard. I go too close in between. Like I go too much with my bug out bag,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but not enough for my inch bag. So
Yep.
I'm like a
You kind of
half
like in between.
incher.
Yeah, yeah, that's what they say.
Called a bench.
A bench. Yeah. But that's it, guys. I do have to tell you though, today's podcast, it's brought to you by TacPack. Yeah. They are the only
is.
monthly tactical subscription box.
Always has been.
With useful, professional grade stuff inside. Use our code Casual Preppers. You're going to get a free separate bag of EDC gear along with your first month's TacPack. All you got to do is go to TacPack.com, use our code Casual Preppers, and you're going to get some really cool stuff, especially if you have an AR, if you like EDC gear, lots of cool stuff. So go check them out, TacPack.com.
It's time for the quick and dirty medical tip.
So this comes straight from the Prepper's Medical Handbook.
We love them.
So, like Kobe was saying, it has in the very end here like a big old breakdown of what your medical supply. Like a lot of people ask about that, and it's really hard to continually talk about those things.
I
Like
know.
you have to see the list.
Yeah.
So he has it like individualized. So, but I'm not going to mention it because it would take
Forever.
forever to read
Yeah.
through. So I've gone over these before, but here's some replacement medications. You know, say you didn't get to your doctor before you got a bug out.
Yeah.
Here's some alternatives, and just their basic uses. Garlic. We've talked about this for blood pressure, cardiovascular health, infection treatment, and a stimulant. Rosemary. She's great.
Tastes like garbage.
Yeah,
I hate rosemary.
antioxidant, stimulant, and it can be added to food. Basil.
If you want your food to taste like crap, put rosemary in it. I'm anti-rosemary. 100%.
I can tell. I can tell.
I don't like it. Garlic is great. Rosemary sucks.
Kobe won't take
Yeah.
rosemary.
Put a note in there.
Yeah. So basil has a lot of uses too for infections. I mean, these higher potent smelling herbs are really good for like cleansing and cleaning. Cleansing and cleaning. Antioxidant and infection. Mint is a good stimulant and also a digestive, so stimulates your bowels. Lemon balm, something to consider for mild depression, irritability, and anxiety.
Dude, I need some of that.
I know, me too. I'm gonna load my whole bag up full
Yeah.
of lemon balm. Fennel, anti-inflammatory, analgesic, appetite stimulant, and anti-flatulent.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
Oregano, antiseptic, anti-flatulent as well. It's stimulant for bile and stomach acid, anti-asthmatic. So oregano has a lot of uses.
Wow.
Cilantro, anti-flatulent as well. That's anti-fart,
Yeah.
bloating and cramps. And then horseradish, perspirant stimulant,
horseradish.
tastes like garbage.
That's horseradish.
Thyme or thyme,
I ain't got enough time.
antiseptic, anti-asthmatic, and stimulant. So, anyways, really consider taking some of these herbs or knowing what their uses are. Like you said, with the survival card, it's a survival manual.
Yeah.
With stuff you're going to find out in the wilderness, because like mint and stuff, it's growing out there. And
Yeah.
rosemary's everywhere. Take Kobe right through that patch.
Burn it down. Burn it down.
But anyways, alternative meds that can help with your ailments and all your diseases
Yeah.
is something you really need to learn
I
if you're
agree.
going to survive out there.
Nice.
Scary.
Thanks, guys. That's it. That's the inch bag. We got to it,
A
man.
lot of stuff.
I like it though. That's fun.
Yeah, the inch bag's cool.
That's fun stuff to do. Maybe
One day.
Maybe we need to build one. We
One
got
day.
enough gear. We probably could.
I think we're fortunate enough to have gotten
Yeah.
gear to test and different battle boxes that we could build one.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, guys. Please make sure you're subscribed. Please make sure that the number one thing you can do to help us out, obviously, check out the sponsors, but share the podcast with a friend. It's so easy to do. It takes you 10 seconds.
Share your favorite one.
Yeah,
They don't need to start from the beginning. They
No.
probably won't keep going.
No, send them your favorite episode. It takes 10 seconds.
Yeah.
They're gonna love it.
Right?
Maybe
It'll
they won't.
help us. We want this to
Yeah.
last forever.
Yep. So thank you guys and stay survived.